A 900,000 square foot ballroom keeps rising on the White House grounds. The concrete is already poured. The bill is described as close to $400 million, and Congress never approved the building. If courts later say the work was illegal, the structure is described as virtually impossible to deconstruct. Can a private donor plan and a Supreme Court pause let the ballroom be built without Congress? The project at the center is a 900,000 square foot ballroom. The price is described three ways in the record: $400 million, close to $400 million, and hundreds of millions of dollars. The administration says it is 65% complete. That figure beyond the administration is unverified, and an earlier nearly $1 billion estimate and a separate record citing at least $600 million show how unsettled the final cost remains. The order on auction moved without required review by the National Capital Planning Commission and the Commission of Fine Arts. The administration also argues the trust lacks standing because it sued months after the White House announced a large new structure. Courts so far have kept the case. The courts put that principle in plain terms. It is not about whether the ballroom is desirable as policy. It is about the legal gate to build on federal land in the Capitol. Congress must expressly authorize it. Four roles drive this docket. The Chief Justice controls the temporary pause. The President controls the construction and the funding claim. The District Judge entered the halt, the Appeals Court affirmed. The Solicitor General carries the administration's emergency appeal. The build followed demolition of the East Wing that began October 20, 2025 and was completed within days. That demolition prompted the National Trust suit filed December 12, 2025, National Trust for Historic Preservation v. National Park Service et al., naming the National Park Service, Department of the Interior, General Services Administration, President Donald Trump, the Executive Office of the President, and the Office of Executive Residence, alleging violations of the Administrative Procedure Act, National Environmental Policy Act, National Capital Planning Act, and the Property Clause. Underground work on bunkers and security facilities had been allowed to continue under a safety exception. The stay now temporarily allows above-ground ballroom work as well. The trust accuses the White House of accelerating to outrun the courts, with filings noting a 250-person crew working 20 hours a day, 7 days a week. The money story is where the verified record and the promise diverge. Senate Republicans dropped a $1 billion security funding request intended for the project on May 20, 2026, after the Senate parliamentarian ruled the provision too broad for the reconciliation vehicle, leaving no direct appropriation. The same day the stay issued at a press gaggle at Joint Base Andrews ahead of a South Carolina rally, President Donald Trump said the planned ballroom will cost close to $400 million and will be funded entirely by himself and patriotic big companies, also described as patriots and large patriotic companies with no taxpayer money. He said donor company names will be disclosed in the coming weeks, probably over the next couple of weeks after asking permission, and that most donors have already said their names may be used gladly. No roster amounts or payment vehicle has been released. Research finds no authorization for a separate Joint Base Andrews ballroom. The $400 million and private donor assertions are tied exclusively to the White House East Wing project. The administration will be tested on that disclosure within the next couple of weeks, when donor names and the funding mechanism are promised. Until then, the cost, the completion percentage, and the private payment vehicle remain unverified beyond the administration's figures, and the legal question remains open: whether 40 U.S. Section 8106 requires express congressional approval, and what happens to a concrete structure described as virtually impossible to deconstruct if the Supreme Court ultimately sustains the halt. Like and follow for more stories that matter.